Let's look at the solution of algebra bytes. There are 5 consecutive integers a, b, c, d, and e. That a is less than b is less than c is less than d is less than e. And a square plus b square plus c square is equal to d square plus e square. What are the possible values of c? Okay, given that these are 5 consecutive integers, c is c, b is c minus 1, a is c minus 2, d is c plus 1, and e is c plus 2. So if I'm looking at squares of these, I'd get c square minus 4c plus 4 plus c square minus 2c plus 1 plus c square is equal to c square plus 2c plus 1 plus c square plus 4c plus 4. The numeric parts I can get rid of straight away. I can also get rid of 2 terms of c squares each on each side. So I'd be left with c square is equal to 12c. And this is only possible if c is equal to 0 or 12. So the answer to the first question is option D. Next. Ax square plus bx plus c is a quadratic equation with rational coefficients such that a plus b plus c is equal to 0. Then which of the following is necessarily true? The important thing you need to notice here is if a plus b plus c is equal to 0, it means at x equal to 1, this expression gives a 0 value, which means 1 is a root. 1 is a root. And if 1 is a root, now product of roots of a quadratic is given by c by a. If 1 is one of the roots, the other root has to be c by a itself. So the first statement, both the roots of the equation are less than 1. Not necessarily. One of the roots of the equation is c. It is not possible. C cannot take a cannot take a value of 1. If a took a value of 1, or can it take a value of 1? It is not necessary that c takes a value, c is equal to the root. I know the other root has to necessarily be c by a. This is not necessarily true. This is also cancelled. This is the only one left. So answer has to be option 3, only 3. Next, summer takes a test called BAT, which comprises 30 questions. In BAT, 3 marks are awarded for each correct response. 1 mark is deducted for each incorrect response. There are no marks for unattempted questions. If he scores more than 25 marks in BAT, then what is the maximum possible number of incorrect responses that he could have marked? So I'm going with his correct responses, his incorrect responses, and his unattempted responses, and checking the boundary condition. First boundary condition, let him get 25 marks only. The simplest way to do that would be 9 correct and 2 incorrect, which would leave out of 30 questions, 11 are used up. So 19 unattempted. Now, in order to maintain the score at 25, correct if it increases by 1, total score increases by 3. So in order to maintain the score at 25, if correct increases by 1, incorrect has to increase by 3, and unattempted has to decrease by 4. So the next case would be 10, 5, and 15. Next case would be 11, 8, and 11. Next case would be 12, 11, and 7. Next case is 13, 14, and 3. And see, marks in each of these cases is 25 itself. But the question had asked me if he scores more than 25 marks. So among these 3 unattempted questions, what I'm doing is 1 will go here and the remaining 2 will go here. I will have 14 correct and 16 incorrect. 14 correct and 16 incorrect, 0 unattempted. Now the total score will turn to 26. All conditions of the questions are met. What is the maximum possible number of incorrect responses that he could have marked? The answer is 16. Okay. Another way you could have potentially arrived at this solution. Is let him get everything correct. Let him get everything correct. So he would have 30 into 3, 90 marks. Now you have to bench the scores for every correct question that turns incorrect. For every correct question that turns incorrect, the score will fall by 2. So score will fall by 4. The 3 marks of positive are gone and -1 is gone. So score will fall by this. So 29 correct, 1 wrong will lead you to 86. And next would be 28 correct, 2 wrong will take you to 82. In this falling, you can see where 26 would come. It would come at 14 correct and 16 wrong. That should get you to 16. So there are 2 ways in which you can think. I don't like the first one because that it is difficult to adjust for unattempted questions there. While adjusting unattempted questions is easier in the first way. Next, if A1, A2, A3 are arithmetic progression. Okay. If A1, A7, A13, A19, A25, A31 is equal to 372, find the value of A16. Okay, this question cannot be solved because this should be the term here. A31 should be the term here. So that A16 is the middle term. Okay, the actual question you would have received would be correct, but this is faulty here. Now see, A1 and A31, the 2 extremities add up to give me 2 times of middle term. So these 2 give me 2 times of middle term. These 2 give me 2 times of middle term. And these 2 will also add up to give me 2 times of middle term, or 6 times of middle term is equal to 372. Or the middle term is equal to 62, which should be the answer here. The middle term here has to be 1 plus 31 by 2. A16 is the middle term. And that is how all of this will work. Otherwise, you always have the option of A plus 6D plus A plus how much? A plus 12D plus A plus 18D plus A plus 24D plus A plus 30D. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 of them. So 6A plus 90D, you will add it up, you will get 90D is equal to 372. So if I can divide every term by 6, so A plus 15D will be equal to 62. So this is the 16th term. This processing is not really needed if you know A16 is the middle term. Okay, last, the sum of 3 numbers in AP is 45. If the sum of their squares is 683, what is the largest of the 3 numbers? Okay, just see 3 numbers. If sum of 3 numbers in AP is 45, the AP would be B, B plus D, and B minus D. This number in the center is going to be average of the sum. So this is 15. This is 15 plus D. This is 15 minus D. Sum of the squares we are considering. So 225 minus 30D plus D square. Here we would be getting 225 plus 30D plus D square. And from here we'd be getting 225 only. These 3 together add up to 683. 30D and 30D gone. You're left with 675 plus 2D square is equal to 683, which gets me D square is equal to 4 or D is equal to 2 or minus 2. Doesn't really matter. The question asks me which of largest of the 3 numbers. If D was 2, I would have 17, 15, 13. If D was minus 2, I would have 13, 15, 17. In either case, the largest of the 3 numbers will always be 17. And that is the answer to the question. Hopefully you learned something. That will be all for this episode. Okay, bye.